When I evaluate a client with low back pain, I always have them list activities that make their back pain worse. And something that is almost always mentioned is prolonged sitting, which makes sense because when we sit, our low back stays in a flexed position, the hips get tight, the muscles kind of stay stretched out in the low back, and then the joints get tight. So what I want to share with you in this video is some things you can do if you find yourself sitting for long periods of time to try to mitigate that low back pain and even prevent it before it sets in. So let's start at the hips and work our way up. So if you find yourself sitting for long periods of time, we want to keep the hip joints moving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my feet and knees a little bit wider than hip distance, and I'm going to swivel my hips in and out of internal and external rotation. So to do that, I'm going to think about pulling the knees in. You might feel like some tightness in the front of the hip, and then I'm going to swivel them out, kind of open up the groin. So I'm swiveling those hip joints in and then pulling them out. And I'm going to kind of keep those hips moving. You can do one at a time. You can do both legs together. But I'm going to really try to keep those joints moving and lubricated, especially into internal rotation, so where the knees come in. Most people, when they rest, they kind of rest a little bit into external rotation, which is why like the glutes and the piriformis gets tight, and sometimes we feel like we get some sciatica. So step one is keep the hips moving by swiveling in and out of rotation. Step two is we want to keep the pelvis and the low back moving. So we're going to do that through pelvic rocking. So as I'm sitting, I'm going to think about just rocking the pelvis back and forth. So I'm going to rock that pelvis forward, lift the tailbone. That should kind of arch the low back. And then I'm going to roll the pelvis under, kind of tuck the tailbone under. That should round the low back. This is honestly how most people end up sitting after a while. So really make sure that you're moving into this pelvis dipped forward, lift the tailbone position, and just kind of keep cycling back and forth in between these two movements, honestly, as much as possible while you're sitting. And then lastly, as soon as we can get up from sitting, we want to move our spine and our hips in the opposite direction, which is going to be extension. So you're going to stand up, feet hip distance apart, put your hands kind of at the top of your pelvis. You're going to send that pelvis forward, push your spine forward, lift your chest, kind of move into full extension here. Take a breath in. Exhale, come out of it, and you're gonna just work into maybe like 10 reps of this as often as possible whenever you can get a break from sitting. If you're driving, I recommend stopping every hour or so. If you're flying on a plane, get up, stand in the aisle, go to the bathroom, try to hit your extensions, preferably doing that before you start to feel pain or tightness into your low back or even down into your legs. If this video was helpful, please let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you have any other topics you'd like me to cover for a future video. And then make sure to follow this channel for more education on how to keep your body healthy and injury-free so that you can continue to crush it in the gym.